Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we're talking about the spell Immolation. This is an older spell. It's one of the first set of spells that came out after the Player's Handbook came out, and it's coming from the Elemental Evil Player's Companion book. But it's in the base list of spells at this point. We're giving this one a B-. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I've got another video coming out. All right, so this is a 5th level spell that is usable by sorcerers and wizards. So pretty much base class arcane casters that can do some damaging type of spells. And it makes sense for both of these classes. It doesn't necessarily make sense to me for bards and things like that. Maybe an artificer, but again, this spell came out before the artificer was part of Dungeons and Dragons, so it's probably why it's just wizards and sorcerers. So 5th level spell, 1 action, range of 90 feet, which is pretty good. It only has a verbal component, which is good. It lasts for 1 minute with concentration. But there's a caveat to that concentration, so you do want to concentrate on this as long as the spell is working. So flames wreathe 1 creature you can see within range. So remember that, 1 creature you can see within range. The target must make a dexterity saving throw, which is, out of the physical stats, that's the better one to try and target. It takes 8d6 fire damage on a failed save and half as much on a successful one. So if it succeeds, this spell becomes an inferior fireball. And fireball is a 3rd level spell, and this is a 5th level spell, so that's kind of where the B- comes in. This spell can quickly turn into a very inferior fireball that doesn't have as much range, and it doesn't have an area of effect. So on a failed save, the target also burns for the spell's duration. Kind of. They kind of burn for the spell's duration. The burning target sheds bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light in an additional 30 feet. At the end of each of its turns, the target repeats the saving throw. It takes 4d6 fire damage on a failed save, and the spell ends on a successful one. The magical flames cannot be extinguished by non-magical means. So that means that pretty much the only way to get rid of the flames is part of the spell, and that's make the save. You can't just drop and roll and get rid of the flames. That's not going to work. You could hit them with a cone of cold. You could throw magical water on them from a magical spell like Tidal Wave or something like that. That probably, I would say, would work. But, throwing a bucket of water on them is not going to do anything. And then lastly, if damage from this spell kills a target, the target is turned to ash. That has implications if you are going to try and raise them later on. So this is all based off of this dex save. So there are ways to make this spell better and to make it not just an inferior fireball, because it does the same amount of damage that a fireball does. It has a worse range, and it's only 1 target. But you want to get this to last as long as you possibly can get it to last. So a couple of things are affecting that dex save is one of them. And reducing the dex save, affecting the dex save in any way is probably the best thing. So I'm going to point something out here. And there's a couple of ways that can happen. So restrained is a biggie. So if you can restrain that creature, or one of the party members can restrain the creature before you cast the spell, and then you cast the spell on it, has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. Paralyzed is even worse. They automatically fail dexterity saving throws. So if you got a whole person on somebody, you flip out Immolation on them, they automatically fail their initial save, 8d6 fire damage. If they're restrained, they have disadvantage on that saving throw, and then they're going to start burning after that, either with a disadvantage on the saving throw or failing it automatically. Sorcerers can cast this spell, and a wild magic sorcerer will have this ability by then, this Bend Luck ability. So when another creature you can see makes an attack roll, ability check, or a saving throw, you can use your reaction and spend 2 sorcery points to roll 1d4 and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty to the creature's roll. So there is that. That'll make them fail that initial save. And this is not a meta magic. So what do I mean by that? So you've got this font of magic, and so you've got this ability called meta magic, and you can cast only one meta magic option on a spell when you cast it. Well, Bend Luck is not a meta magic. It just uses spell points. So you can use your reaction to give them a penalty to their save, and then, or because Immolation targets one creature, twin spell, when you target only one creature, so Fireball doesn't target one creature, so you can't twin a Fireball, but you sure can twin this one. And it doesn't have a range of self. This has a range of 90 feet. That's not self. You can spend a number of sorcery points equal to the spell's level to target the second creature. Now, you'd have to spend 5. You'd have to spend 5 sorcery points, but a sorcerer who is 9th level is going to have 9 sorcery points. So you're going to have plenty to give that penalty if you're a wild sorcerer and to twin it, which is great. So you could hit 2, and if you happen to hit 2 that also happen to be restrained by like an Entangle or an Evard's Black Tentacles or something like that, not a web. Don't do the web because it'll set the web on fire. Then you could get both of them. Now, one of the things I do want to look at is because they turn to ash, let's look at the spell Revivify. Revivify, okay? Let's look at that spell. Blah, blah, blah. It's looking. You touch a creature that has died within the last minute. The creature returns to life with 1 hit point. So it cannot restore any missing body parts. A pile of dust has no body parts. So I would say that this spell is not going to work because of that. And then eventually this will get back. Oh, it's so slow. Raise Dead is the other spell we're talking about. And eventually raise... Okay, there it is. Raise Dead. Okay, you return a dead creature to life provided that it has been dead no longer than 10 days. Blah, 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 blah. If the creature's soul is both willing and at liberty to rejoin the body. Well, there's one little thing right there. Neutralizes poisons that affect the creature at the time it died. The spell doesn't, however, remove magical diseases, curses, similar effects. These aren't removed first prior to casting the spell. The spell closes all mortal wounds, but doesn't restore missing body parts. You have no body parts if you're dust. So it's not going to... So if a creature is lacking body parts or organs integral for its survival, its head, for instance, the spell automatically fails. So I would say Revivify and Raise Dead both fail. Now, Resurrection is different. And so that is the thing about Resurrection. That's the thing about Immolation, is it's turning you to dust if it kills you. And that's not good. That's not good for your health. This spell closes all mortal wounds and restores missing body parts. So this one probably would work. I would say this one, because of that, this one, and then True Resurrection would probably work. So Immolation can actually be pretty nasty because of that. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.